You're born in a village in the hills of Sicily, where the air smells of wild thyme and baking bread. You grow up with the Mediterranean sun on your back, chasing goats through olive groves that have stood for 1,000 years. You laugh easily. You sleep deeply. You believe the world is wide and warm. By the time you turn 5, you start to help your father harvest olives. You also help your mother carry jars of oil to the local press. And when no one's looking, you steal a handful of grapes and get caught every single time. On most days, your father is a tenant farmer. Most of what you eat is grown on the land he tends. On other days, he is a stonemason, helping build the villas of the Roman elite. Your mother tends to the family hearth. She always tells you that the sun is the eye of the gods. You agree. Here, life is simple, poor, dusty, but you're happy. When you turn 12, you start following your father to the nearby town. There you see the Roman tax collectors arrive, men in white tunics with iron-faced guards and scrolls that decide who lives and who starves. Sometimes they look at your family's small plot of land just a little too long. Your father stands in front of you like a shield, and when he tells your mother, she whispers prayers to gods who seem to have moved to Rome. But soon you hear adults whispering words like debts, conscription, confiscation, and the empire's greed expanding. You pretend not to notice, but the air feels different now, sour, heavy. You're 16 when the soldiers finally arrive at your door, not with scrolls this time, but with chains. Your father's debt has come due, and in Rome, if you cannot pay with silver, you pay with your life. The arrest starts before sunrise. The smell of torch smoke chokes the air, and the world that used to be warm suddenly feels too dark to breathe in. Your father tries to fight, but iron doesn't care about a son's tears. He is struck down. A collar of cold iron snaps around your neck before you understand what's happening. Your village vanishes in the dust of the road. Your future, too. You're herded with the debtors, the criminals, the unlucky ones, and marched toward the volcanoes in the south. Feet bleeding, throat dry, heart numb. Then the mouth of the mine welcomes you. You're shoved into a narrow hole in the earth with rusted picks, tattered baskets, and air that burns like fire. Except you're cataloged as a different kind of property. By the time the sun sets over the crater, you've learned 2 things. Screaming is useless, and the valuable slaves are the ones who stay on the surface. You are sent below. Once you arrive, the transformation begins. You're inspected like a tool, renamed without ceremony, and assigned to the deepest veins. Your childhood doesn't end with a rite of passage. It ends with a lungful of yellow dust. In this mine, the first thing they take is your breath. The air is thick with sulfur, the rot of the underworld. It doesn't just smell, it bites. It stings your eyes until they are perpetually red. It melts the enamel off your teeth until they are nubs in your gums. Then your life becomes a daily project. Morning descents into the humid dark, sweat rubbed into the raw sores on your back until you shine like a wet stone. Ropes massaged into your shoulders as you haul baskets of yellow ore up ladders that creak with the weight of the dead. Coal drawn into your lungs with every gasp you take. Older miners teach you everything you never wanted to know. How to tell when the air is about to turn toxic. How to pick at the rock without causing a collapse. How to sleep standing so the rats don't eat your toes. How to endure the heat of the earth without fainting. They call it resource extraction. They call it the wealth of Rome. But everyone knows this is not a job. It is a slow execution. And as you learn to move like a mole, you also learn the hierarchy you now serve. The emperor at the top, the governor beneath him, the mine owner below him, the household slaves. Congratulations, you are below them all. You are Damnatio ad Metalla, less than a slave, a ghost waiting for a grave. But none of that really matters, because in the deep veins, there is only one rule worth remembering, whispered by the men with hollow chests. The mine doesn't want the sulfur, it wants you. A week after entering the mine, you and the other new men are assembled. There the overseer inspects you. He doesn't speak, he just listens to your cough, studies the strength in your legs, looks at the blisters on your hands, a silent appraisal. He approves of your youth, and you're moved into the lowest levels, the yellow, choking, quiet part of the earth, where the rock is hot to the touch and hope never reaches. It smells of rotten eggs and despair. Your first shift doesn't come with a break, it comes with a whip. The vein is narrow, the heat is 110 degrees. The guard calls your name, and you crawl into the hole, because not crawling is not an option. He treats you like a shovel, like something the state provides, like a mule. The air is so thick you can taste the poison. You're expected to pick at the yellow crust for 14 hours as if your lungs weren't melting. You move like you're made of glass. It continues. Months come and go. Seasons you can no longer see pass by. You become part of the machinery. Prepare the basket, prepare the pick, prepare the body. You learn to breathe shallowly, to stare at the flickering oil lamp, to make your mind a blank, safe place to hide. Numbness becomes a skill as essential as digging. 1 year passes. You are 17 now, but you look 50. Your hair has fallen out in patches. Your skin is the color of parchment. You have survived longer than most. You are free to hope for a quick collapse, but the rock stays firm. You sit in the dark and look at your hands. You realize you haven't broken the cycle. You've just been buried by it. And with that realization, the sulfur finally takes its toll. Your heart is scarred, and you can no longer remember the smell of the wild thyme. You are at the bottom. Hollow, yes, but finished. And that has to be enough.